can always start to believe. Listen to your heart, tell me that you understand, 'cause you are the one for me. If you just believe, 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 believe. Listen to your heart, 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 heart. Listen to your heart, 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 heart. Listen to your heart, tell me who you wanna be. We can always start to believe. Listen to your heart, tell me that you understand, 'cause you are the one for me. You just believe, you just believe, you just believe, you just believe.
Yes, we are back again. There's 18 people in the fucking building straight away for a 0-0. For a 0-0, you're all mad being here. You're all absolutely mental being here, but I appreciate it nonetheless. Who we got? We've got Dennis, we've got Kerwin, we've got myself, of course, McLovin. Funny enough, I'm dressing as him tomorrow. Alec Johnson back with his all caps methods. You might be thinking, Dara, why do you look like that? I had to watch a 0-0 last night. I always look like this after a 0-0. This is not just general tiredness. This is watching 0-0 with about 8 minutes of Mahrez and Grealish on the same pitch. So that was kind of a really, really poor game, to be honest with you. Very poor quality game, and I don't think anyone was particularly standout, were they, really?
No, you had. I mean, defensively, yeah, maybe we were secure. That was probably about all I can say, really. Going forward, Mahrez on the pitch, big no for me. Big no. Big no. Given a 4 in the player ratings, and I still think that's a bit generous, to be quite honest with you. Because, listen, at the end of the day, we know he's piss poor at the moment. Like, there's no real way around saying he just is piss poor at the moment. Like, he cannot hack it at the moment. I mean, you saw, we even sort of almost catered to him at one point. So Haaland was taken off at half time, wasn't he? And Alvarez is more of a link man than a sort of your typical poacher. So you thought that might suit Mahrez more, and he was still ineffectual. He dived to win the penalty and he still missed it. So I'm just disappointed, to be honest. It's the biggest talking point of the weekend, but I'm just dead disappointed, you know? I can't really say anything else. I never wanted him to step up and take it.
No. Go on.
I never wanted him to step up and take it. I looked at Gundogan. Gundogan was sort of having... He was in the vicinity. He was there. He was by the penalty spot. And I would have rather him taken it. But at the end of the day, Mahrez took it. He missed another one. That's the third big penalty in a row that he's missed. I'm not counting Barcelona in the charity match. I'm not counting that as a penalty scored in the game, because there was nothing on the line. I know it was last minute and we were losing, but there's nothing on the line. It's a charity match. Like, it didn't matter. The last 3 that he's taken that have mattered, West Ham could have all but wrapped up the league. He missed it. Copenhagen could have wrapped up the group. He missed it. Dortmund could have rubber stamped the group. Missed it. It's an issue. It's a big issue right now. And Pep said himself that it's time for him to step away. It's time for him to take a back seat and let someone else take them. And I fully agree with him, because his confidence is rock bottom. He's got nothing left. So he shouldn't be taking penalties anymore, because he keeps missing them. They're not costing us right now, but it's the thought of later on. Maybe it does cost us. You saw at the weekend, Haaland took the one against Brighton when Mahrez was on the pitch. That is, again, it seals it. Mahrez is not number 1 penalty taker anymore. He's becoming unreliable from the spot. He was always unreliable. People sort of took the shine to him taking penalties because he scored a few, but when you look at the ones that he scored, they were all big, but most of them were when we were winning. When we were winning games already, so they were just kind of to, almost seal it, essentially. They weren't, it was to ice the games, really, so he shouldn't be taking them. He really shouldn't be taking them anymore, and he shouldn't be on the pitch really anymore. Like, it's not even just taking penalties. He shouldn't be on the pitch. I don't know what is going on with Jack Grealish being on the bench. He's finally hit form. He's finally hit consistency. Pep's mismanaging him. Like, how is Grealish on the bench? You know, this is the best period he's had in the City shirt. By far the best period he's had of recent. And he's looking at Pep playing Mahrez and probably going, why? Why is this guy starting in front of me? Why am I not getting minutes? Why am I not starting games? But Mahrez is, you know, Mahrez is coasting along. I said it yesterday in the Discord, which there's a link in the description if you want to come and talk to us, that he's a one-trick pony and his trick's not working. That perfectly sums him up. He's a one-trick pony. He's a cut inside man. But it's not working. He cuts inside and goes, oh, I've got nowhere to go. Let me pass it to a midfielder who sometimes they'll give it back to him and go, listen, mate, you're supposed to be this tricky winger. You do something with it. And it'll be basically like to me, to you, to me, to you. Fucking Chuckle Brothers over there. Like, it's just, his confidence is clearly just so low. But at the same time, you can't afford to give him the chances for him to get it back. Because it's coming to the point where it's costing us in terms of performances. It's costing us in terms of results. We didn't lose, but it was dreadful to watch. It's a 90 minutes we'll never ever get back. Like, I'm sorry, it was shocking.
Yeah, it was very poor. It was it actually ended up suiting both teams to draw, which I think the last kind of 15, 20 minutes, no one was really overcommitting. No one wanted to go out, and City didn't want to lose the point. Dortmund didn't want to risk not going through. It was dull, but yeah, I'm sure you could have predicted it. Both teams needed a draw. Both teams got a draw. It was awful. Like, I'm sorry, I know it sounds like we're losing here, but fuck me, we did lose. We lost 90 minutes of our time watching that. But you know what? I think we have to come out with a positive of, we have won the group again. We're coming out on top against, let's be fair, Dortmund are a good team. We've come out, we beat them, and then we've drawn at them, and bear in mind, that's a tough place to go when we've come out with a point, so I'm happy out with the outcome of it, but not for the entire 90 minutes. Again, like you said, it's an absolute travesty Grealish not playing. It's travesty with Mahrez playing. Like, again, Grealish coming on and getting, 10 minutes? 10, 15 minutes at a time?
He didn't get 10, 15 minutes. Yeah, I'm telling you now, he got crazy. About, like, 7 or something. Like, it's really weird. I don't understand. Maybe because I mean, I know Ortega started, but that's because Edison kind of was limping about against Brighton. I think he almost came off at one point, but he carried on. So it's more of a, not Edison being injured, but more of a sort of precaution, giving Ortega. I mean, Ortega got my man in the match. I thought it was brilliant. I thought in terms of distribution, he made a couple of good saves. I thought it was great, but like, that really sums up the game, doesn't it? It's 0-0, boring, 90 minutes of our lives that we won't get back, and I'm saying that our goalkeeper got man of the match. Like, when does that happen? Not very often. Like, we never give goalkeeper man of the match, because normally at least something happens. Like, I thought Rodri was sort of teetering on the edge, or you could have given it to one of the defenders, because again, they were just brilliant. Like, they dealt with pretty much everything. But again, that just sums up the game, really, doesn't it? Like, you're looking at giving man of the match to a goalkeeper or a defender because the game's ended 0-0. Like, it's just how poor we were going forwards. Again, we've seen it time and time and time again. Mahrez on the right, he's ineffectual. Foden on the left, he's not as good as he has been on the right. I want to talk about the midfield too, Rodri and Gundogan. I know I said Rodri was really good. I was disappointed with Ilkay Gundogan yesterday. I'm going to be completely frank. I thought he was just backwards, sideways, just so
passenger.
Passenger, pedestrian-like. Because we set up with a 4-4-2, clearly, obviously, 4-4-2. But my main issue with Ilkay Gundogan is not the fact that, you know, he was terrible. He wasn't. He was just all right because he just kept hold of the ball. When you're playing a 4-4-2, you've only got a midfield 2. You've only got 2 in the centre of the park, and one of which being Rodri, who's the holder, is the normal defensive, the normal 6, who can, you know, contribute going forward from a bit deeper. But that second guy, which is Gundogan in this case, has to go forward. They have to be forward thinking. He's the main creator. We're basically looking at Gundogan and going, you've got 2 number 9s and you've got 2 wingers either side. You need to pass forwards. You need to supply them. And he didn't. It was always backwards. It was always sideways. He was too deep. And that's just the thing I didn't like. Like, he wasn't terrible, but like, when you're playing a midfield 2 and one of them's a 6, the other guy needs to be going forwards. Like, I was screaming for him to just like turn and run with it sometimes. Like just take a touch, turn around, run, and if you need to pass it off, pass it off. Like he had a lot of space numerous times, but he still went backwards. It doesn't feel like a loss because at the end of the day, you take the positives. We have topped the group yet again. We are going to be against the second seed, which obviously one of those second seeds is Inter Milan, which no easy tie themselves. But you'd imagine, obviously on paper, you'd get a bit of an easier tie finishing first in the group. So I'm happy with that. It means the last game against Sevilla means absolutely nothing. We can do that one, just, play anyone that we want. And if we lose, we lose. It doesn't matter. Like, that'd be the sort of game where I think Pep said that Sevilla and Chelsea in the Carabao Cup were the two games. It's like people who aren't getting minutes are going to get minutes. I don't know who that is. I'd assume Mahrez would continue there. Alvarez will probably get 90 minutes or at least 90 minutes against Sevilla. I don't know what he's going to do against Chelsea. I imagine he'd quite like to win that one. To be honest, it's a weird one having Chelsea that early in the Carabao Cup because if you either want to, if you go for it, you've got the intention of winning, but like, there's no point getting through a cup competition if you don't see yourself, fighting till the latter stages because it just adds more games. Like, if you're not asked, then just put a second string in. If you lose, you lose. Like, that's the situation with that. And I'd imagine I don't think Calvin Phillips will be back in that time, so I doubt we'll see him. Maybe I'm looking at the likes of Rico Lewis, who Pep seems to like, and Cole Palmer, maybe. I don't know how that's going to work because, if Mahrez is going to play on that right-hand side, will Palmer be in the midfield? Will he be starting on the left-hand side? It's something that I don't really want to see, but it's a possibility. I don't know, but at the end of the day, you have to look every single time a result doesn't go your way or it feels like a loss because you've drawn or whatever. You've got to try and at least look at the positives. Defensively, another clean sheet. Ortega came in and didn't really change anything with the back four. We were still relatively comfortable, especially with the ball. And that's about all the positives I can take. Haaland came off after 45 minutes. His injury isn't serious. That's another positive. But apart from that, it's just dire. Like, there's not really much else. There was no moments bar the penalty, which we've kind of gone over just talking about Mahrez, and that was about it, really. We've had important players get a rest for Leicester. The early kickoff, I absolutely hate early kickoffs, but that is the situation that we're dealing with now against Leicester, who are playing all right at the moment. They're starting to get a few results on the board, but I think that was the main goal. Pep just wanted to try and secure top spot. That was his main goal, whether it was boring 0-0. I'm sure, like you said, going into that last 15 minutes, both teams were just like, "Here, we'll take a draw. It suits us both. We'll take a draw."
Yeah, that's it. I think your point on Gundogan was really good. I thought he was just civilian. He didn't really get involved. It's just kind of a six in and around, like, it's just a run-of-the-mill performance. I think in that kind of system, you could really miss a De Bruyne, someone who's, I know we give him a lot of grief, so that's why I'm saying it. Someone who's actually willing to just, it feels weird saying this because we always give him shit for this, but like being
go
able
forward,
to just
do something.
Yeah, move forward, having an out attacking midfield that really helps in that kind of system. And we lacked it last night, obviously, there wasn't much breaking the lines. Even when Haaland was on, he didn't really look threatening at all. There wasn't that where I went, there wasn't a time where I was lifted off my feet to say, this could go in. But I think, actually, before I do that, I just saw a question there, and I think we both have the same answer here. Question for Darren Joe: do you think there is a future at Man City for James McAtee? Personally, I hope so. But I just can't say it, I'm afraid. I think if there was a future for him, he wouldn't be put out on loan.
Yeah, that's kind of the sentiment that I shared in the summer. If you go out on loan, that's pretty much the end. If you're good enough, you'll be here. That's sort of the way it is. Look at Foden, look at Palmer. Look at even players like Rico Lewis and Joshua Wilson-Esbrand. If you're good enough, you'll probably stay here. Be in and around the first team. You'll still play with the EDS, but you'll be called upon. You'll be on the bench for a lot of the games because, like we've said before, this myth of we've got a never-ending depth of talent. We don't. We have a small squad. So you'll more than likely see those players on the bench and still playing with the EDS. And again, they'll get called upon every now and then. I hope I'm wrong, but his loan spell isn't going too well either, which doesn't help him. He's not starting games. He's hasn't really had the best of times. It's not great that we've got two players on loan in the same position at the same club either. That doesn't help. Like, that's just a bad thing. It's poor management from that side of things with the loans. I know it's sort of a thing that they wanted to see. You know, they just wanted him to see get more game time, but I hope I'm wrong. But I'm looking at the situation right now with, obviously we had a few months ago now, I think it was the De Bruyne interview where he said Foden would probably end up being in midfield eventually. You've got City linked to Bellingham in the summer. Like, where realistically does someone like McAtee fit in? Where does he fit in? Where's his squad space? If, you know, I think Palmer's future will be on the right, but he can also play in that midfield. We've seen him before, so I don't know. I don't think so. Again, I hope I'm wrong, but I don't think so. I think too many things have gone wrong, and my opinion has always been that if you go out on loan, then, I mean, when's the last time we had a lone player come and play football? What, Zinchenko?
I'd say Zinchenko was pushing it, and again, he was just put out to PSV as an attacking midfielder, and he ended up playing as a left back. But like, there's loads of names coming in now, like Liam Delap. No, I think we're the exact same. Liam Delap's kind of who I think the boat has sailed. Doyle, not a fucking chance, I'm afraid. Taylor Harwood, not a fucking chance. Like, there's a lot of players who have already been given like the kiss of death, in my opinion, and that's kiss of death is going out alone. Like, you look at now, we have Alvarez, we have Haaland. There's no real space for the lap, and the lap will leave.
As
next
soon as
year,
we signed Alvarez, it was done for the lap. As soon as we signed that as soon as we decided to sign a development number 9. That was it. That was curtains for Delap. That was it. Mm-hmm. Delap was supposed to be that development number 9, the homegrown number 9 that we had in the academy, the development player who was supposed to get better and supposed to be really, really good. As soon as we bought someone else, it was over for him. Like, I'm sorry, that ship has sailed. He's too injury prone. I think he's doing all right, but I mean, he's playing for Stoke.
Scored anyway. I know that much.
He scored, yeah, but we've got two number 9s that are ahead of him in the pecking order. I mean, he was here at the club, but he was the only out-and-out number 9 we had at the club, and we were still playing a false 9, and he didn't even get a look. He didn't even get off the bench. Like, it's done for players like that. I think you'll see a similar situation like with all the players we sent to Southampton. I don't think they'll go to Southampton anymore because they've just lost the connection to us.
Joe Shields is gone.
Yeah. But you'll see a similar situation, I think, where they'll all be sold for sort of 10, 20 million, something like that, and there'll be a buyback or a sell-on for most of them. I think that's the plan. We're getting to the point now where we're losing one, if not both, of Gundogan and Bernardo Silva, and we're going to just go out and replace them. Like, we're going to sign someone. We're not going to use an academy player to fill that spot. We're going to go and sign someone. So
I've just seen it. Dash, mate, you've had some good takes tonight. Now, I haven't been reading it, but this is crazy to me now.
I've just read that last name.
Yep. Is there more people in the club that are starting to decline? Yes, 100%. Gundogan's a bit of a contentious one, right? But I'm gonna say I'll let you away with it. Mahrez, yes. Walker, yes. I won't say time is done, but he is heavily declining. But John Stones, come on, man. I'm sorry, but Ake's had a few good games this season. Akanji's had a few good games this season. Diaz had a good few games this season. You were looking at this. Kyle Walker's out injured. We on top of this the other night. We saw last night. John Stones. He's not playing as a traditional centre half, nor is he playing as a traditional right back. He's dropping into the midfield. He's able to make those weird kind of cut through the lines passes. We know how good he is with the ball at his feet. He's playing like a holding midfielder. He's playing like an attacking right back. He's sitting back in a defensive block as a defensive right back as well. Because let's be fair, I thought the defensive performance yesterday was brilliant. I thought you'll see it there with 7s across the board for the defenders. I thought they were very good. I thought Ake was really good. There was a time, I think it was it was the second half, where Ake fluffed out a chance that was over his side when he was playing left back. It was fucking brilliant. I'm really, really impressed with a lot of the defence, which is why you can't turn around and actively say that John Stones is like his time is finished. Hasn't it? I'm sorry now, I don't mean to be jumping down the throat around, but there's not even an inkling, in my opinion, to say that John Stones is even close to finish at Man City. He only got a contract a couple of years ago. He will sign another contract. I can't see him leaving anytime soon. Stones, nowhere near finish at all. Now, look, I'm a bit of a John Stones enjoyer, as you can see, but like, not even close. Definitely some of the other players in this. I think Gundogan's gone personally. I do think Walker will. How many years is Walker?
2024, I believe his contract is.
He will fuck off out of that or retire. But Stones, man, I'm sorry, I can't get past that because I was really impressed with him again last night.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Listen, Dash, mate. I'm sorry. I don't mean to dig you out like this, but you're talking about Stones as if he's 35. He's like 27, 28.
27, 28.
He's in his prime. There's no decline about him whatsoever. Yeah, he's injury prone.
Not yet. There will be a decline.
There will be a decline. We all know that he's a walking medical case. The man's never fit for a season. There's no decline. He's one of, whether you like it or not, whether you share this opinion or not, I think it's factual information. He's one of the best defenders right now going. Like, the skill set that he has, he's great. He's fantastic. There's no decline to him. He's versatile. You could stick him anywhere on the pitch and he'll do a job. You can stick him up front, he'll probably score a goal. Like, there's no tactical setup for John Stones. You just stick him in a position. You stick him on the pitch and say, "This is your zone. Do whatever you want," and he will probably put it in a 7 or an 8 out of 10 performance most games. Like, that is the level of football that he is. I don't understand people who don't rate him. I don't understand the people who say there's a decline or say that we should get rid of him in a few years or any. I don't get it. I don't get it. I mean, every time I watch him, the man can do anything, any role. Give him it. It doesn't matter. It does it. He does it to the highest level. The only issue that I have with John Stones is his injury record, but there's not really a lot that you can do about that. You've just got to live with it. Like, we've seen worse. I mean, we put up with Vincent Kompany for 10 years, for fuck's sake. Like, I'm sure we could deal with John Stones having a few weeks here and there for a hamstring. Like, he's so good. He's so good. So good. More buzz.
I think Stones so on the red. Stones is so on the red.
No one gives him his flowers.
I've tried telling the boys, like my group of mates, this for years. Since the lockdown season, since he came back to his high level, how good he is. And a lot of people turn around and say, like, he's always got a mistake in him. There is very rare a centre-back in the world that doesn't have a mistake in him. And John Stones, right, is fucking as close to perfect as a lot of players can. He's great defensively. He can stand someone up. He's great physically. He's best. You know, I might regret saying this. He's the best ball playing centre back, like best with the ball at his feet in the world. I wouldn't take anyone over him. That's how good he is, and that's how crucial he is to see. He's filling in again. I know I keep mentioning, but he played DM last night. The fella dropped into a holding midfield too with him and Rodri. He was fucking brilliant as well. He has that ability to find a pass in behind. He's a centre back, man. He's a centre back, and he has that ability. There's a lot of players sat there in Liverpool's midfield in. You know, I'll be rude. Chelsea's midfield, who can't find a pass like John Stones. He's fantastic.
Come on. You didn't have to mention Liverpool. I'd walk into Liverpool's midfield.
That's what I mean. Do you think Ruben Loftus-Cheek can find that pass? Honestly, do you think
he's playing a wing back? He's playing a wing back, mate. Like, listen.
Fair point. Just had a detail. No, don't be sorry, man. We're not trying to dig you out. You know, I mean, everyone's entitled to their opinion, but like, I can't turn around. He's still world class, unbelievable. Sign Alphonso Davies. Yeah, I wish it was that fucking easy, man.
I wish this was like FIFA career mode. That'd be great.
Don't be sorry for the opinion, man. If it's your opinion, it's your opinion. I'm not
going to force you to change your mind because we disagree. That's not something that we want to do.
If you think Stones is going to fall off, that's fine.
If you can see into the future, if you've got your glass ball or whatever, and you're sat there going, in the next couple of years, John Stones is going to fall off a cliff, then listen, if that's your opinion.
Is John Stones good?
Magic 8 Ball. If that's your opinion, or if you think that's going to happen, it's totally fine. Like, this is all about opinions. There's not many right or wrong opinions.
Without that opinion, we wouldn't have got the last 5 to 10 minutes of conversation. So thank you.
Yeah, it's given us something to talk about. But I mean, yeah, he's for now he is far from finished. But I mean, we know from recent experiences, Kyle Walker, Fernandinho, there is sort of that cut-off point where they seem to just, and Mahrez to an extent, where they seem to just, during that summer break, the levels just go from sort of top to like mid-table almost. Like we've seen that, just the levels fall off instantly, which is not something you associate with football. Normally it's sort of a slow decline where they start to get a little bit worse and they start to get a little bit slower. With us, it's literally been Fernandinho went from should be starting over Rodri to he's finished. Kyle Walker's gone from one of like England's best right back to, oh my god, this guy, what is he doing? He's lost his legs. He can't run anymore. Mahrez has gone from top scorer to what is he doing on the football pitch? Like, I don't understand in some ways because that's not football. That's not how it works. It's not like it's FIFA or Football Manager. I love Football Manager, but this has a tendency to, as soon as a player hits 30, they just, they go down like really, really quickly. It's not like that in reality, but it seems to be for us. Like they've hit a certain age and the levels have just dropped so far. But Stones has more to give. He's England's best defender. Not even centre half. He's England's best defender.
Fucking mile. By a country mile, he is England's best defender. He's going to the World Cup. He'll show off again. And you know what? If he's put beside that fucking shite Pipe Maguire, he'll show him up for how good he is. Because by God, like I can't believe there's anyone sleeping on John Stones. Like it's crazy to me. Foden's levels have dipped since the derby. That's fair enough, but I don't think he's actually played on the right since the derby, which is funny enough. That definitely coincides with, like you mentioned there, Foden really doesn't look good on the left, which is crazy because that's where like he's been playing the last couple of years. He's looked just average, like what I mean. He's never looked out of ordinary at left wing, but it's always because when he plays on the right, Grealish plays on the left, and they look really good together. That's
the thing. You see, I mean, perfect example, game against Liverpool. He tries to drift inside, but he's a left-footer playing on the left. Like, it doesn't work. It's like, if you're telling him to drift inside as almost like a 10 from the left, then he needs to be right-footed, or he needs to be playing off of the right, so he can actually drift inside and, cut inside with effect. Because when he drifts inside, he's got to go back around the outside to use his strong foot. So it kind of cancels each other out to the point of he tries, but it doesn't work. It's not, Grealish should be, I know we don't want to see Grealish and Mahrez, but Grealish would have been much better in that sort of a role because he's right-footed on the left. Like, that is the whole point, really, isn't it? Of, we've sacrificed a false nine and the extra midfielder to have this big brute up front who doesn't get many touches and just scores. The whole point is now the wide players are, they're not traditional wide players anymore. They're more wide controllers. Like they're out wide to stretch the pitch, but in reality they're not going to stay wide. They're going to drift inside, which is why forward on the left doesn't work anymore because you don't want him traditional wide anymore, especially when you have Bernardo Silva typically on the left hand side of that midfield, because then he goes around the outside and it all just becomes a mess. So I think we need to, again, Pep, please. I'll allow it because it's Dortmund and we needed a point. Like, we need to win, it doesn't matter. And we got our point and we're top. But please, Leicester, weekend, please do the right thing. Play the right team, please. I'm on my knees. I'm begging. I am begging for you to play the normal team again. Because I am sick of seeing Mahrez because there's no improvement. I'm sick of seeing Foden on the left because it just isn't as effective. I'm sick of it, Robbie. I'm sick of it, Robbie. I want to see more John Stones. I want to see us play a good team, the best team on paper, because I want to win the game on Saturday, and I want to see Grealish again. Like, I wasn't saying that last season. I wasn't saying last season. I want to see Grealish. I want to see him start on the left. This season, I'm like, yeah, Pep, will you actually start this guy? He's actually looking pretty good. Any chance you could play him?
Yeah, just please, a bit more Grealish, but like that's just it. Like as poor as Leicester have been for the whole, I know I don't want to go into a full preview, but like as poor as Leicester have been since the start of the season, they're picking up now, and you can see the headlines. Vardy's back. Vardy does this. Vardy does that.
It's always Leicester.
You see, it's always Leicester. It's always Leicester. They've been a notorious bogey team for us. And if they don't fix up...
Early kickoff.
The early kickoff, you know what Gandhi said now back the early kickoff, right? It's nowhere near crunch time, but this is around the time where we turn around and put our wins together. That's where we start going on our winning run. And, you know, we're not really hitting, we're dropping points here and there, whether it be in Europe or not. You're not in a constant flow, you're not in a good swing of things. And, you know, all I can hope is to go out, and I think someone said it in the comments, take the frustrations out on Leicester. That'll probably be a cheese because it needs a sneeze. Hang on.
You sneeze, you mute. I'll take over the
Can I
reins.
continue with the bite?
There we go. There's a sneeze.
Right, yeah. Okay. This we need to start picking up just constant wins. Again, we said this is where you go on your run. This is where you open up a gap. This is when you turn around and say, right, if we put a 9 or 10 point stamp on the league, eventually when we get completely congested with football, we have a cushion. But we had that cushion last year and we got away with it. Doesn't seem like we're getting that cushion this year because we're not stringing together a lot of results. We've been fine in the league, but barring Liverpool, of course. But we just need constant wins. Need something to gel together. And I think we've said this 1,000 times before. You need to get the same team playing with each other. He's not doing it. I understand a bit of rotation here and there, but Foden being bandied out on the left, put back to the right, put in midfield, fucking whatever. It's not working for him. It's clearly messing him about. He looks better on the right, just as Grealish looks better on the left. Whilst Foden's on the right. Grealish can't play with Mahrez. Grealish can play with Foden. Foden's more direct than Mahrez. He doesn't just cut onto his left all the time. No, it's not his style. That's why Grealish looks so much better when he has Foden there. And again, it helps having someone to just be sat there lurking at the back post. Like at the minute, I'd put Miguel on Foden to finish the chance that Mahrez missed against Brighton. Like I'd put Miguel on Foden scoring that. But this whole chopping and changing, have Mahrez go on.
You need to carry on. You need to build essentially, you need to build the momentum. I don't want to go into this weekend against Leicester and drop points, because we've just picked up points on Arsenal because they drew with Southampton. I don't want to go and, throw it in the bin, essentially, and drop points at Leicester. That's the last thing I want to do. I want to go out and obviously it'd be interesting to see how Arsenal do get on tomorrow in the Europa League. Enjoy Barcelona. Thank you very much. But be interested to see how they get on tomorrow, because if they look anything but 100%, then you're looking at the weekend. I know they have Forest, but they beat Liverpool. I know Liverpool are pretty bad at the moment, but they beat Liverpool. They could possibly get a point from. I'm not. We did, yeah. But listen, essentially, at the end of the day, we can't be picking up points on Arsenal because they drop points, and then going the next weekend and dropping points. That's the last thing you want to do. And I think Grealish will play at the weekend purely because he hasn't. When was the last time he started a game? When was the last time he started football?
Fuck me, when was the last time he started? Did he not? No, he didn't start in the week. Did he start in the weekend? Was Grealish and Mahrez around there?
Nope.
Are you sure?
Yep, positive. Oh wait, no, it was, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
Because it was dreadful. That was why I can remember that one. But he didn't play against Liverpool. He didn't play against Dortmund. He didn't complete the game. He only had about an hour against Brighton. I don't.
Oh yeah, I know he was hooked, but he still played.
He was hooked. He played against Copenhagen when we're down to 10 men. He's not really played, really, has he? He's had maybe a couple of hours of game time in the last 4 games combined. It's not really great, really, is it? So, listen, I think we will see him because we didn't see him until the last 7-8 minutes against Dortmund. And Mahrez did pretty much the whole
He'll
game.
have to start.
So
he has to start, man. I can't just sit there and take this nonsense of Mahrez playing. It's not me turning and having an agenda against Mahrez. I have said that I was fairly harsh on him in the past. I'm not being harsh now. It's not working. He doesn't suit the system whatsoever because he's not direct enough. I think you've summed up perfectly. One trick pony and the trick's not working. That's what's going on with him. You need someone more direct, someone who can, to be honest, someone who can fucking buy a goal at the minute, because he's not scoring, Mahrez. He's missing penalties, he's missing chances, he's buried over the last few years as well. I mean, It's just poor. I don't want to keep having the focus on Mahrez, but all this
You have to.
this talk about the team. You think about if Foden's playing out left, that's because Mahrez is being pushed in. That's because Mahrez is being pushed and wedged into that team. It was like Sterling in the Champions League final. We sacrificed a huge part of our team to get him in. That's what's happening with Mahrez. We're sacrificing Grealish, who's been great. We're sacrificing a better version of Foden to get Mahrez in. It's piss poor. Like, it's really not enjoyable. And over the last couple of games, I'm looking at it like Pepe spent 100 million on Grealish, and you're trying to A, force Mahrez out there, and B, force De Bruyne out there. It's just not working. Like, that kind of stuff isn't working. I just hope he goes back to basics. But you're never going to be able to predict a Pep 11 100%. You're never going to, because Trent just pulls these weird changes out of his arse. I don't want to see Mahrez. We're at home class, aren't we?
Ooh, good question.
Go on, I'll keep talking. You find out, right? I don't want him anywhere near the team. I want continuity. I want a consistent flow of continuity between team sheets that will allow for a more gelling. Because again, we have to go on this running run. We always need it because we always end up needing a bit of a cushion. We need to go on this winning run, and we're not going on. There's no sign of us going on this winning run.
So
and I want. Was it away?
Away, King Power.
Oh, fuck. Bleeding. Yeah, why do you see Madison now in the Brum, the muck, the mad cunt? What a player! What a fucking player!
I'm gonna stick him. I'm gonna make sure I don't put him on the bench in my fantasy team so that he doesn't.
Stop! He's been in mine for a while now. He's staying there.
I was really tempted to go.
Yeah,
he's playing City. The way I was thinking is he's playing City. He might not get an opportunity, but if I don't put him in, he's definitely getting something. If I do put him in, there's a chance that he gets me fuck all because I've put him in, which is good for us. But that always happens.
Bernardo's not staying. I'm sorry, I've just seen a comment. Bernardo's not staying.
Listen, this always happens. I put Saliba in. I hadn't put an Arsenal defender in all season. The first time I put Saliba in, the draw 1-1 with Southampton. I am the reason they dropped points. I'm the captain now.
I am the captain now. We need to get Mahrez. No, we don't need to get Mahrez rolling. We've tried to get Mahrez rolling. Pep is trying to get Mahrez rolling, and it's not working. He's just not that good. I don't know why people find it so difficult to turn around and accept that he's just not him anymore. Like, it happens. Players get old. Players fall out of favour. Players don't suit a system. Mahrez suited the false 9 system down to the ground. He went inside, and there wasn't some big 6'4", 6'5" bloke went for a pass. He was a goal scoring winger in a team without a striker. It worked great. Now he's a goal scoring winger, and half our Premier League goals have been scored by the striker. You know what I mean? You can't. That type of player just doesn't work in the system, and that's fine. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Probably shouldn't have been given a new contract, considering. But you can't get Mahrez firing at the minute because he's just not settling in. And I'd rather have a team, like a fluid team, with him up front, with Mahrez off the pitch, than trying to get him going because it's not working. He's not chilling. He's quite simply not.
Give him his 200k a week.
We're trying now. He's playing the shit games. I'm sorry. Like, last night was a throwaway game. Copenhagen was a throwaway game. What again? He played that Brighton match, which we were highly expected to win, and he ended up getting hooked because he was fucking piss poor. Just so bad. Like,
give him his 200k a week for him to sit on the bench. Say,
like,
listen,
he could be used as a super sub at the same time. We're looking at this. We say Grealish can't really make an impact off the bench. Like, Mahrez won't. Like, Mahrez could get you a goal, but it's not like you're going to be hooking Haaland off unless he breaks his fucking leg.
No, I'm sorry. No. Mahrez can't get you a goal. He can't get you a goal in 90 minutes. How is he going to get you a goal in 30? You cannot get going. Yeah. You cannot use him. I'm sorry. You talk about you put your house on Foden scoring that one against Brighton. I put my house on Palmer scoring that one against Brighton.
Yeah.
Cole Palmer should be getting minutes ahead of Mahrez. I'm sorry, Mahrez should be nowhere near the football pitch. We've tried giving him the benefit of the doubt, going, you've got to play him into form. You've got to, give him the minutes. You've got to give him time to adjust. We've given him time to adjust. We are almost in November. We're about to hit the break for the World Cup, and he is still shit. He is still playing awful. How can you continue to say Yeah, but you still got to use him because that's what we pay him for. I don't care what we pay him. He's not doing what we pay him for, so why should we even attempt to get that out of him? What is the point? I've seen too much of him now to go, yeah, let's play him. Sorry, if he wants to go play in the Carabao Cup, if he wants to go play in Sevilla when it means fuck all, fine. But if he can't do it right, this is my thing with Mahrez. He keeps bottling it in the big moments, right? And if he starts against Sevilla and he does fuck all yet again when there is zero pressure, he's done. It's curtains for me. If he can't hack a game,
already.
Yeah, right. But he's, essentially, if he cannot hack a game that has zero pressure at all, nothing riding on it, he shouldn't be playing at all. He shouldn't be playing again this season. He should not be playing. If he can't do it when there's nothing riding on the game, he shouldn't be playing. That is how I feel.
You can't do it in the small moments. You're not doing it in the big moments, I'm afraid.
Like, he used to be this big game player. He's not that big game player. He's not even a small game player. Like, they went, look against Brighton, look at the first goal, they went man-to-man and it cost them for the first goal. Mahrez should be thriving on man-to-man because it's one-on-one. He should be thriving in a one-on-one situation. He is used to, over the years, being double and triple teamed on that side. If he's one-on-one, I didn't see him do anything. What? I don't understand this whole sort of, he's still a tricky player. He can still get you a goal. He can't get you a goal. He can't get you a goal. He cannot get you anything. What he can do is he can help you hold on to the ball, so he might be useful if you're 2-0 up in the last 10, 15, maybe 20 minutes, 2-0 up, you just want to hold on to the ball. Yeah, fine, because he still has a good first touch, and he can still hold on to the ball, and he's very good at going backwards. But right now, if you're talking super sub, implying that you are level or behind in a game and chasing, Mahrez is the last player I want coming onto the football pitch right now. To, as a super sub. The man's going to be useful if we're winning already and we just need to hold on to a lead. Because again, he can just hold on to the ball. That'll be fine. 6 out of 10, but he doesn't give the ball away cheaply. That's fine with me. But right now, he shouldn't be playing in the league because every game starts at 0-0. He shouldn't be playing in the knockout stage of the Champions League unless it's the second leg and the tie's already over. Because again, knockout football, we need to win. He cannot play. He cannot play.
Yeah,
he can't do it. He can't hack it.
I'm actually interested. I'm interested how Joe, because Maljeet said somehow we'll see if he follows the Sterling path. I tell you what, yeah, I wouldn't have. Look, I'm not going to turn around and actively say leave, but if he wants to leave next season, then absolutely, I would not stand in his way. But the Sterling path is a completely different path to what people think it is. Like people think that the Sterling thing was just a quiet little breakup. Nah, there hasn't been a. Like that was rough word, has it? I don't think there'd be a Mahrez having strops but maybe there is. I remember there was when we played Cheltenham a few years ago, he looked like he didn't want to be there. That was annoying though. But does this Sterling end up being very prima donna about everything and fucked off? But I can't see that with Mahrez, especially now he's in his last big contract.
He needs to understand that even though with Sterling, he's entitled and he wanted to play. At least he was scoring. At least he was still doing stuff on the pitch.
To play. He was giving Pep reasons to play him week in, week out.
He was getting involved. He was playing relatively well, still getting a goal or an assist. Mahrez is not playing remotely well whatsoever. What was the game that he scored in where he tried to volley and he shinned it? And everyone was going, oh, great technique, but he shinned it. It was the game before Brighton.
Oh, it was the fourth goal against
Southampton.
Yeah.
Where he shinned it. Yeah, everyone's got a great technique. I watched it there and then and said, that's come off his shin. He hasn't even kicked it properly. I get it. He's low on confidence, but he's had more than enough time to regain that confidence. I'm sorry, he's been given more than enough opportunities to get back to not even the level that he was at. I'm just asking for competence at this point.
I've seen another comment that Mahrez wants to have better intensity and faster pace play than Sterling. It's the opposite, I'm afraid. But I don't. You know what? I'm not even mentioning Sterling anymore. Dickhead. Not
Chelsea.
Even mentioning him. But Tyrone just said my man's not having Mahrez. Neither of us have Mahrez. There's only so much you can take. Is this an agenda, my G, or just as far? Oh, just as far. Jesus Christ, we were kind of. Well, I was up him last year. I was up his arse last year. because of how good he was. I was fine with him. I was like, even the game when he turned out and had a bad performance, I was said like, it's fine. He's built up enough goodwill. That goodwill goes in another season with a new system and new players around it. That goodwill goes. The goodwill is gone for Mahrez. I can't have, like, I don't have it anymore. If he turns around and changes, if he changes his form, if his form ends up great, and he deserves to be in that team, he will be in that team, and I will back him in that team, just like I'm sure Joe would as well, because obviously when Mahrez came, he had that awful first season. Second season, he was great. I was more than happy to have him in. Third season was a crack short. Yeah, he was.
Do you want to know the stats this season actually? Before because we've had the agenda or form. He's played 15 times this season if you include the Community Shield. 15 appearances. He has 2 goals and 1 assist, and one of those goals and the assist came in a 5-0 win against Copenhagen. He has 1 goal in 14 games that isn't against Copenhagen, essentially, which was Southampton. That is, I'm sorry, when you talk about agenda or form, it's not an agenda. He's just playing piss poor. He's played 700 minutes this season and has 3 goal involvements. Like, it's piss poor. I'm sorry. It's dreadful. Like, I'm actually going to search now what Cole Palmer's played, because I know he doesn't have the involvement.
Here's one for you, right?
Right?
Fans getting impatient with Mahrez. We had it with Stones. Yeah, we had it with Stones. He came class. Mahrez has had his world class match. He's also about 5 years older than John Stones. Like
this again.
I find it mad the goodwill that Mahrez has with people.
I don't understand. The thing is with Stones, right? Is yes, he was pretty poor in the beginning, but then he's become great, and he's been great ever since. I think he had that one season where we didn't win the league, where he just never played because he was always injured. But apart from that, he's been fantastic. Mahrez came to the club, was shit, was good, now he's shit. That's my issue. It's down and then it went up, and now it's just gone down again. I don't understand. Like, Palmer's got 10 appearances. He hasn't got a goal involvement, but he's played 165 combined minutes. Like, it's not enough. It's not enough. Mahrez doesn't cut the mustard. He cannot play. Like, it's not. I understand every narrative, the whole confidence thing, because it's clear that is the reasoning. Because he's overthinking himself when he goes to take a penalty. He's not striking the ball cleanly. Again, Southampton wasn't a clean strike of the ball. Brighton should have scored. Mahrez passed, does score. His confidence, but again, he has 15 appearances this season, off the bench and starting 15, and he looks no better. When do you say enough is enough? He's had his time now. Like, he's had enough time. He's had enough time already. This can't be he's low on confidence, just give him more game time. He's had the game time. He has had that opportunity. He has had multiple opportunities. He hasn't put any sort of run together. Do you know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of Grealish last season, right? When everyone was fucking up his ass because he was the most inconsistent player ever. He wouldn't really do much, and he'd put out fuck all goal involvement, but he'd pop up with one every now and then. That's what Mahrez is like right now, where you're looking at him going, he's a one-trick pony. He doesn't fit. His confidence is low. That's what Grealish was last year. He didn't fit.
Grealish was getting called shit last year. That's what I don't understand. Grealish.
Yeah. But it's the same thing.
Grealish
was called shit.
And Mahrez is getting, he needs time. Mahrez is 31 years of age.
This is the problem.
He's not going to get any better.
This is the problem. Grealish, last season, he didn't fit. He was very inconsistent in the games that he played. Some games he was good, some games he was bad. And everyone was on his case. Mahrez doesn't fit the way that we play now. He's had his time to, like Grealish, he had his time. Grealish started off starting games of football. He had his time to adapt. Mahrez has had his time to get good again. But everyone's like, just give him time, he's low on confidence. Where's the same energy? Grealish was also new to the club last season. Where was that thought in people's heads when they were criticising him? Mahrez has been here for 4 or 5 years? Something like that. It's fifth year this season. Where is the same energy? Like, I know that it seems like we're riding Grealish, which it does seem at times, but it's just the whole, where's the consistency? Where is the whole, why is it one rule for one and one rule for the other? Why was it, Grealish is £100 million, we expect it? I don't understand.
I have to cut out of you, right? crazy how quickly you forget he had a clutch Champions League game just 2 years ago. People don't realize how long 2 years is. 2 years is a long fucking time, right? We now have someone who's taken those goals away from him because he's going out and scoring 20 goals in October. Haaland's taken away a huge factor of Mahrez, which is his goal scoring. Mahrez isn't fitting a system, the new system. He fit the old system perfectly. It's a new system. He's not fitting it. That's 2 years ago. You can't bring up a defence for our current criticism of a current player in a current climate by saying this what he did 2 years ago. It's impossible. You can't.
You're only as good as your last game. What happened to that saying? You're only as good as your last game. What was his last game? A 4 out of 10.
Never mind. Then now I look like a dope. Cheers, Dennis. It's like I see all the if his content's low, just support him. I'm true supporting him. I'm just not that I'm true supporting him, but like I'm true
putting up with it
for him playing.
I'm not settling. I'm not going. He's low on confidence. I know he's playing bad and he's costing the team's results. Like, say what you want. He's costing the team a result. Again, 2 penalties in back-to-back Champions League games. And he's missed them both, and we've gone on to draw both games 0-0. Where, if he scores them, we win both games. He is, costing the team results right now. I am not going to sit here and go, yeah, but his confidence is low, give him time and back him. I'm sorry, I'm not. If he's costing the team results, get out of the team as soon as possible. Don't step on the pitch.
This would be the same for anyone, by the way. This would be the same for anyone. We've been banging this drum for ages about when, I know I banged the Rodri drum for a while. I was somewhat right. Yes, he is declining. You've hit the nail on the head. He is declining. He is 32. He's had a massive, like his biggest asset was a goal scorer. I keep saying it. He's had that taken away from him by the 6'5" fella. Like, nice Barry.
Same message for everyone. If in some weird and wacky alternate universe where this 6'5" Norwegian geezer doesn't score and does what he did in the Community Shield and misses sitters, I'd be going, yeah, mate, hold the bench. You're costing the team's game. You're not sticking away your chances. Hold the bench. Alvarez, you come on. That hasn't happened.
He's not doing that.
He's ridiculous.
He's not doing that. He's scoring 20 goals in October.
Like, that's the same thing with... Right, I know it was taking the piss a couple of years ago, but look at a couple of years ago when Diaz first came in. Laporte was playing shit, so Stones came in and we started keeping clean sheets. Same message, obviously different circumstances. Same message. If you're playing shit and you're costing the team's results, you're out of the team. You're gone.
That's been the message for years. Like, we saw it with Laporte. A lot of people, I wasn't, because again, John Stones enjoyable. A lot of people are pointing for Laporte to get back in, saying he was being unfairly. He was definitely being unfairly treated because he didn't even get a cup game. God love him, but he was phased out of the team. I don't understand why it's so hard for Mahrez to be phased out of the team if he's costing teams results. If he's costing results, because that's what he's doing. Like, he's missed 2 crucial penalties that could have sealed not only the group but the match. Like, the match is the most important thing.
Look at Cancelo as well.
Why not win the matches?
Look at Cancelo as well, right? People say he's the best fullback in the world. He's the August to December player, isn't he? Second half of the season, he normally drops off, right? Remember that Champions League when we went to the final? Cancelo wasn't even starting for the final.
Zinchenko got played
because Cancelo fell off a cliff and Pep went, right, half-time against PSG, first leg. Zinchenko, you're coming on. Cancelo, you can hold the bench for a bit. And we went on to the final. We did lose the final, but we went on to the final. We won the Premier League. We won the Carabao Cup. Like, it's the same message for every single other player in this team. If you're playing poor, you're going to get hooked. If you're playing poor, you're going to be sitting on the bench while someone else plays in your opposition. I mean, look at Akanji. He's played while everyone else has been injured. Now you're going, well, he starts. So, people coming back from injuries, you take your place on the bench. Akanji is playing well. He's playing. Like, I don't understand this hyper love for Mahrez. He's playing shit, but he's the only player that... Well, he's one of the only players that I've seen go... He can play poor, but he doesn't have to hold the bench. You got to give him time.
I'll give you this, right? I'll say this. Pep, whenever something is going wrong and there's a player playing shit, they get hooked. The thing that sprung to my head directly there after the Cancelo at PSG was the Villa match. Last year when Bernardo got hooked. Bernardo, player of the year, by the way, hooked in crunch time when we needed 3 goals.
Fernandinho, half-time, club captain, hooked.
Taken off. Half-time. That's the ruthlessness. Like, he usually has that, but he hasn't got that this season with Mahrez.
Half-time, his last ever home game for the club captain, hooked, because we didn't want him on the pitch at centre-back. We didn't want him on the pitch. Pep went, he's not cutting it, Zinchenko, get on. Like,
Yeah,
he's
Zinchenko
ruthless.
got on. Zinchenko changed the game. Mahrez came off that day as well. Sterling came on, changed the game. Like, as much as I have a dislike and disdain towards Sterling, he came on and changed that game. Obviously, you don't need me to tell you that Gundogan changed that game. He scored 2 fucking goals. He came on for Bernardo. He replaced the Cup's player of the season and scored 2 goals. When you're playing shit, even if it's 1 game or 10 games, you are taken out of that team, and your replacement goes and does that, right? You look at it now. Look what Foden did in Mahrez's position in the derby. Hat-trick. Mahrez doesn't get a hat-trick that game.
Mahrez gets hooked after 50 minutes because he's done nothing. That is the levels that we're dealing with now. And again, we did a video on this ages ago. I think it was the last video that we did. The last time we actually recorded a video instead of stream.
It's been a long time. It's been pushing a month now.
It's been a long time, but it was Mahrez, and it's the same message again. Mahrez is directly hampering the development of Cole Palmer, because Cole Palmer is coming on and being forced out on the left more times than not. He's never going to play in the left for a sustained period when he reaches his peak, because he's not that player. He is a player who will play either in midfield, if there's a role that suits him, or on the right, because technically he's brilliant and you don't want to put him on the left. Like, he's hampering Cole Palmer's development. This is the thing I don't understand. Palmer is ready and fucking waiting to go, and he's got no minutes. He gets 10 minutes at the end of the game when the game's done and no one's trying anymore. And even when the game's done and no one's trying anymore, he still does more than Mahrez when the game's on the line. Like, that is my big point right now. But I know Pep's not going to see it that way, because Mahrez has the experience and he likes to take time with putting young players in. But that's the way I see it. I see it that way, as Palmer for 10 minutes when the game's over and everyone's sort of jogging about, still does more at the moment.
Will you run a poll?
Like, what do you want the poll to be?
Literally just Palmer or Mahrez. I'm interested. I want to make a study here. Joe's going to run a poll and I'm going to pitch the question, right? Let's just say in an unideal world, Foden's just broken his leg. You need someone to start right wing against Arsenal top of the league. You need someone to start right wing, right? And you come down to between Mahrez or Foden, right? Mahrez or Palmer. Who are you picking? Like, I know who you're picking. I know who I'm picking.
I know who I'm picking as well, because the thing that we've just flamed Mahrez for, essentially being a one-trick pony, his trick isn't working. Palmer's not a one-trick pony. Palmer has more about him than Mahrez has got. Mahrez cutting side pass backwards or side, whereas Palmer's willing to go outside his man, get to the byline, take a shot. He's not hesitant. Like, he's just got more about him. Which, again, I think I saw the comment before. I think it was. Let me try and find it. I think I'm going too far.
Yeah, I'll just no. I'll tell you what. You want
Dash
to
coming back in again, saying it's just the way Pep's using him. Well, that's the way that Pep's going to use him. That's the system we're playing.
That's the way Pep's using everywhere. That's why he's using everyone.
It probably doesn't suit him, right? It probably doesn't suit him. However, that's the way that he wants to play, and if Mahrez can't hack it, then that's that's up to him to find a way to adapt to that style of play. Like, Pep's not going to change to shoehorn Mahrez in. I know we have this thing of he shoehorned Gundogan in at Anfield, and we have like he has done that a couple of times. He's not going to change the system that he wants to play just to fit Mahrez in. Like, he's not going to change how his wingers operate just so Mahrez will play well. Because if that happens, then what happens to Grealish? Would Grealish start playing poor again and everyone gets on his case again? Like, you can't have it always. We've seen every other player in a wing position, whether it's been Bernardo Silva, Phil Foden, Jack Grealish, Cole Palmer, those 4 have played well in this system. It's just Mahrez. I don't want Pep changing it to accommodate Mahrez and possibly, hamper someone else like a Grealish, like a Foden, having to play him on the left. I don't want that happening. If everyone else can hack it, but Mahrez can't, so be it. So be it. That's not my problem. That's Mahrez's problem to figure out how he can get the best out of that situation. And if it means he has to hold the bench and never play unless we've got nothing on the line, then unfortunately that's how it's going to be. I don't see him. I know he said he wants to retire, but I've said this before. He wants to retire. I want to win the lottery. You don't get everything you want in life if essentially he has, whether we like it or not, he's not going to be sold because I don't think he'll accept leaving on a transfer.
No one's going to want to buy him.
And no one's going to want to buy him.
Let Newcastle have him.
He's essentially got those 2 years that he has on his contract extension to pick it up. Otherwise, there's not a hope in hell we give him a new contract. And he just leaves on a free. We're going to go, listen, mate, you haven't been good for 2 years. I know you said you want to retire here, but we're not going to give you another contract because you've been shit. So we thank you for what you've done. See you later. And he might just retire off of that. I don't know. I don't know what he's going to do. He might just decide that, that's it. He'll be like 34 at that point. So, but at the end of the day, like, he should be treated as everyone else would be treated. Not should be, would be.
Good enough.
Everyone else would be treated like that. Grealish gets treated like that. We've seen, I've treated players like that. I love treating players like this. I hold the highest of standards at times. Too high standards, some could say. But
you definitely do hold too high a standard. But this should be something where people kind of will overactively agree with you.
Like, I might hold too high standards, but I believe we are the best football club in the world. So why shouldn't I? Why shouldn't I hold these ridiculously high standards that we, season in, season out, more often than not, we can hold them standards. We can hold players to that high standard because they're just the players that we have. And all I'm asking is, again, competence. I'm not asking for Mahrez to go and play like he did the last 2 seasons and, score 15 goals and be our top scorer. I'm not asking for that. That's not the point I'm making. I want competence. I want to be able to go when Mahrez is on the pitch, be able to go, he might do something, Whenever I see Mahrez playing on the pitch, whether it's off the bench, whether it's starting, I'm going, we're probably not going to score. Or he's probably going to do nothing. There's not even like 10% of me that just goes, oh, well, there's a chance. There's no part of me that goes, there's a chance he's going to make an impact. There's not a chance he's going to get above a 6 out of 10. Like, he could be just bang average and just be there and do a couple of all right things, get a 6 out of 10. There's no part of me that thinks he's going to have a good game. Not at all. I can't see it because I haven't seen it this season. And I don't know where to go with this, really. It's a tough one. It's a real tough one. But again, you can't just change things to suit the player. He's one player in a team of about 18 senior players. You can't just accommodate him. Yeah,
there shouldn't be a player.
There shouldn't be a player at Man City where if you see them in a starting lineup, you go like that. There shouldn't be. One of, if not the best clubs in the world, there shouldn't be a player where you go like that when you see that name on the lineup. Because it's about, look, I have to make the push. I haven't made a push all day. It's 39 years here. I'm pretty sure last time I checked it was like 36. So run that up to 50. Keep subscribing. You'll see the button pop up in a couple of seconds. There you go. If I may. It's 39 years in here. Like it, share. Just keep commenting. Comment does fucking wonders. Comment does absolute wonders for us. So even do that. Just a normal comment. Napoli avoid that. Oh fuck me, yeah. Don't go near Napoli. Like I don't really care about who we get around 16 because I'm comfortable in beating everyone. This is something I want to keep for after the next game. I don't think we should probably get into this. I think we wait till everyone in the second seed is sorted, and then we'll use it then, because we're gonna need something to talk about after the Sevilla match. I don't care. Like it's gonna be a B team pumping, but we're gonna need something. So I think we hold that talk, and see.
We'll do a reaction to the draw when it eventually happens. Anyway, that'll be something.
It's 25 to now, right? We can run to 40. If there's anything anyone wants us to discuss, please throw it in there. I feel like we've done enough Mahrez. There's only so much we can say about Mahrez.
We can't say anymore. I think we've said enough to the point of it just needs to hold the bench, and you've just got to kind of. It's more blind faith than anything else. There's no evidence to support that he's actually going to get better given circumstances, but you've just got to kind of. I don't know. I suppose I hope and pray that something happens overnight, but I doubt it. There is that poll, however, that I will end now. It's gone on for 6 minutes.
Oh yeah, what one?
And well, Cole Palmer with a resounding 91%. That tells you where everybody's mind is right now. That Mahrez is now below an academy player woo's, well, this is his real first season. Like, that is the level that we're at, where people would rather see a 19-year-old Cole Palmer. He's 19. Could be 20. I don't know. A 19-year-old Cole Palmer who has never got a solid run in senior professional football, they'd rather see him be playing those Mahrez minutes, which I don't disagree with, but I find mental that people are still going, yeah, but Mahrez, give him time. He's had it, again, this is my point of view. I'm pretty sure you share a similar one. He's had his time. Not saying sell him, because that's not going to happen.
No, it's not going to happen. It's not realistic.
He's had his time to get to grips with things, and he still hasn't. So I will afford him no more time. Or if I could, I would afford him no more time because he's had it.
I'll be honest, I didn't see any of the football tonight at all. I was watching Breaking Bad. Nearly finished it, actually, just for anyone who's interested. Unbelievable. Best show ever. Darrett and Joe, did you see the madness at the end of the Spurs game then? Did you think it was an offside? Could you explain this to me? I don't know what's happened. I didn't know what score it was.
Ooh, Tottenham 1, Sporting 1 was the final score. Tottenham, Harry Kane thought he scored a 95th minute winner. It got chalked off for offside. I haven't searched for it, mind, but I have not seen the actual offside. People are going mad saying it's a joke. I personally think it's very, very funny that Spurs have been fired in the Champions League.
Yeah, in the Champions League as well. You know what? Hold on, I'm going to find the offside because I will say this, yeah. We were only praising this whole new offside system here, yeah.
I saw the one, I was watching Barcelona, Bayern Munich. I was watching Barcelona, Bayern Munich. Well, that's not the offside system, is it?
I don't know what you mean. No, I suppose not. But
that's not the offside system that they use. But I was watching Barcelona, Bayern Munich with the fancy 3D fully automated offsides, and they had a great one for the first goal that Mahrez scored.
He's behind the ball. You know what? I'm going off. The only images I can get aren't that fancy 3D one, right? But in my opinion, that's onside. That's crazy. Like, I don't understand how the ball line has managed to track its way down to the blue, because it's most certainly not. They have been fleeced there. God love them. But it's Tottenham.
It's Tottenham in the Champions League. Hopefully they'd be fleeced.
It's not either going to win. Like, hang on. I must say, that sports jersey is so much nicer with white shorts.
Conte got sent off for it as well.
Like, that's... I'm sorry, right? No, look, I'm not a Tottenham fan. I actually somewhat don't like Tottenham, but that's a joke. To be honest with you, that is a fucking fat joke.
I don't know. I didn't see it in real time. I don't know. My one fucking issue with that is that where's the fancy new fully automated VAR offside thing? Why are they drawing lines again? That's my issue with it. Is do they not have the technology in certain places?
There, use it.
Is it not? Is that technology not there for the English stadiums? I don't get it. Again, it's a problem with the fact that they're back to drawing lines. The drawing lines doesn't work because the referees just draw the lines wherever they want.
Yeah, I personally, just gone off the pictures there, I think that's a fucking joke now. I know Liverpool won tonight. I'm saying they were 3-0 up last time I checked.
Yeah, they did. They're through to the knockouts. Although again,
I tell you what, I'm putting up Flash Score. I'm gonna take a look. Actually, a game I find gas last night. I'm pretty sure Benfica won 4-3. Like, what? I don't think I've seen this drastic of a downfall. Well, I have actually Barcelona. Other than Barcelona, I don't think I've seen this drastic of a downfall from a football club ever, because Juve have gone from top of Serie A, getting Champions League finals, semi-finals, to nothing.
And they're still not going to sack the manager. They're still not sacking him.
He's awful. He's not a fellow on TikTok who's English, but he goes on as if he's Italian. He's done.
He threw an ironing board.
Fuck off.
It appeared on my For You page. TikTok, he threw an ironing board.
Before we wrap up, there was that Atletico Madrid and Leverkusen thing where there was 4 minutes added on. There was a last minute penalty given. The penalty was taken in the 98th by Carrasco, who missed it. And then there were 2 follow-ups of the penalty, both missed, and it finished 2-2. Which
they are in the Europa League. They are in the Europa League. They are in
the Europa League, 4 points behind Porto. Here, what are Club Brugge cooking?
7 goals.
I don't know, but they got
10
absolutely battered today. I suppose
Did
it
they?
doesn't really matter. They
Oh,
got
yeah,
battered 4-0.
They got bounced by Porto, yeah.
It'd be interesting though.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure we play what is Sevilla a Wednesday game. Oh God, I hope it's a Wednesday game because, well, that means that, yeah, it is Wednesday. The 8 o'clock kickoff on a Wednesday, which means by the time that Sevilla has finished, we will know exactly our potential opponents. It will be done, set in stone, who we could draw. Which again, that'll be the main talk about after that one. We will obviously talk about the game when it happens. Because I imagine there'll be something funky with the team. But
Yeah.
the main talking point will be who we can draw.
Yeah. There's really not much more we can talk about in regard to this game, but like we said our piece on Mahrez.
Barcelona. I want to talk about Barcelona. I want to just laugh at them for 5 minutes.
Fuck me, they lost 3-0 and a goal disallowed.
Last 3-0 and Bayern had a goal disallowed, could have been 4-0. Hector Bellerin at fault for both of the first 2 goals, playing the man onside both times. Very funny. His legs
Marcos
have gone.
Alonso playing centre half.
It was a complete and utter shit show. They are now back in the Thursday night competition for the 2nd year in a row. And, Bernardo Silva still wants to go there, so fair play to him. He really must like the hot weather. He really must hate the rain. Because I don't know why he's going to a team who loves Thursdays at the moment. I mean, they have sold their soul. They basically sold the entire football club. They sold themselves to Spotify. They sold the stadium rights to Spotify. They sold pretty much, or I'm pretty sure it was all of their TV revenue. So they earn no more TV deals. They earn nothing from televised games for the next, I think it was a decade or something. And they sacrificed all that for Europa League. What a football club. We love to see it. I think everybody was unanimous in their hate for Barcelona right now. It's great. We absolutely love to see it. Also, Atletico Madrid going is good because they were terrorists last year. I don't want to play them. I'm glad they're gone.
War criminals. Also, fuck Eric Garcia and Ferran Torres.
Yeah, and them. I mean, listen, the grass is not always greener, and in this case, the grass is fucking never greener when you leave. Because we're just good at football, aren't we? Really. So if you leave, you're probably downgrading. You are downgrading. Let's be honest.
There's not probable about it anymore.
Yeah, you're not getting as good as we have over here. The football, I mean, listen, you don't get that anywhere else. And again, we gave Eric Garcia was a free transfer. We still fucking robbed him blind. He is dismal. He is poor. But again, is very funny. Inter Milan even clocked it on social media. We're all into tonight, lads, aren't we? Yes, we fucking are. We are. We all prayed for the downfall of Barcelona. I think all 4 of us, me, you, Luke, Hugh, we all prayed on the downfall of Barcelona. We all went, be very funny if they drop down to the Thursdays again. It's fantastic. They still owe us about 50 million for Ferran Torres. It's great. It is fantastic to laugh at Barcelona because I follow Rashad Rahman. I follow Rashad Rahman on Twitter. It's funny to see because he's past it. He's past it right now. He expects this, and then obviously I have all the other Barcelona accounts that just appear every now and then. It's a great laugh. It's a great source of enjoyment. We're still going to end up losing Bernardo Silva to them because he's sick of the pissing rain and just wants somewhere really hot. But again, I don't care about that. If he wants to go there, then again, fair play to him. Because if he's willing to drop his standards just for a bit of sun, then listen, he can do that. He can do that by all means. Although saying that, I am a little bit upset because I would have loved to go and bounce off him in the round of 16, first knockout round. Just go and absolutely pepper them. Would have been fantastic. But them dropping to Thursdays, I'll take. It'll do me. I don't know about you, but it'll do me.
Oh, I'll take it on my. Hey, look, it's 47. I think it's time to wrap it up. I am so tired, boys. You can tell by me, I'm defeated. But yeah, look, thanks everyone for coming in. I think we're peaking at like 50 people. I think I saw 50 in there once, boys. Thanks so much again. It was a 0-0. You're all fucking mental for coming in, but we love you all equally. Thanks all the boys coming in. Again, like, share, comment. You know yourself, boys. I think we might be back tomorrow night. According to Hugh Murray in our chat, we may be back tomorrow night. So I won't be here. Halloween party tomorrow.
It's the first time we've heard of him since the.
Look, it's good to see that he's back safe.
So since he came in, I think we all remember what happened on Monday night, where he just dropped in accidentally for like 30 seconds. He didn't realise that we were still going. He made a guest appearance for any of you who were there the other night. That was fun. But he is alive. He will be returning. Again, I think he was saying about tomorrow. We'll see what happens there. If not, Friday. We've got to talk about that Leicester game in a bit more detail.
Yeah, look, we'll wrap it up there. You know what I mean? Thanks for coming in again. Love you, Sean. It was unbelievable. You're pushing us ever so close at the 5K. Yeah, boys. Again, thanks so much else I can really say. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you maybe tomorrow night. So go on, have a good one. Have a up, Joe.
Listen to your heart. Tell me who you wanna be. We can always start to believe. Listen to your heart. Tell me that you understand.